This is Omega Agent 661, and today we're reviewing the Kershaw M4 Blur. Let's get to it. The Kershaw M4 Blur is a limited edition sprint run version of Kershaw's popular Blur model. The Blur is an EDC folding knife with Kershaw's speed assist technology, and this sprint run model is made proudly right here in the USA. Its overall open length is 7.9 inches, and 3.4 inches of that is a black DLC covered recurved drop point blade made from CPM-M4 Super Seal. Woo! Just saying that gives me the shivers. The handle material is 6061 T6 tempered aluminum that is anodized in a tactical-ish gray color and includes trac-tec inserts for extra grip. It feels great in the hand. Finally, it weighs about 4.1 ounces. The Kershaw M4 Blur is a Ken Onion design and is just a sexy beast filled with lots of awesome design details. First up is the color. Nothing could be more boring than gray, right? Wrong. The anodized gray on this knife is just the right shade for me. Not too light or too dark, and the finish is not too glossy or too flat. It looks great for a tactical EDC because, let's face it, black on black on black on black gets boring sometimes. I mean, I love it, but it does get boring. The gray aluminum is offset by black trac-tec inserts that are very grippy without being too rough, with matching black hardware and black barrel pins. The inserts follow the flowing design of the handles and swoop around the hardware and flow parallel to each other, split by a nice curving line detail that splits the handle. A small patch of subtle jimping runs along the thumb ramp of the handle. The deep pocket knife clip is all stylish business and resembles a four-in-hand knotted tie with the narrow section that widens as it reaches its point. The two-way adjustable clip can be set up for tip down or tip up carry. It comes from the factory tip down. Finally, we move on to the blade. I only have one word for it. Sexy. The drop point M4 blade features a nice recurve and a hollow grind. It also features a slight swedge on the spine of the blade that increases its slicing performance and saves weight without compromising the blade strength. The blade is laser etched with the USA flag, America baby, along with the model number, designer, and blade steel. The thumb stubs are unique half pegs that are cut at an angle and then machined with jimping-like grooves that secure traction when opening this knife. The knife also includes a small lanyard hole for all you lanyard fans. Overall, this knife is a stunner. Let's move on to the locking mechanism. The Kershaw M4 Blur uses an inset liner lock system that is found on a ton of Kershaw knives and works well. I had no real issues with it as I performed my test and used it for my normal knife chores. I do have to point out that it did get a little dirty after cutting through skateboard deck grip tape and had to be cleaned out to operate smoothly because it did get a little gummed up. But normal knife maintenance is required of all knives, so I'm not going to ding it here. The Kershaw M4 Blur has performed great, easily dispatching all challenges and accomplishing all the cutting and slicing tasks I've thrown at it. The knife came out razor sharp from the factory and is easily the sharpest Kershaw I have ever owned. It sliced and diced food with ease, and any type of cordage I had stood no chance against this sexy beast. This knife is just a fun workhorse and is great to use. I'm impressed by the build quality of this knife. The centering is spot on and the grinds are really good. True to its name, the knife opens in, well, a blur, snapping into position firmly and does not exhibit any kind of wobble. Really good job by Kershaw on this knife's production. My main worry with this knife is the inherent susceptibility the M4 still has to rust. Unlike my M4 Shaman, this limited edition knife didn't come with any fancy paperwork, but I know the knife is going to take more maintenance to keep it rust free. Other than that though, I am happy with the build quality on this knife. Which brings us to value. All in with tax and shipping and handling, I spent a little under 90 bucks on this knife. What a steal! For under $90, I got a CPM-M4 blade that is made in America and comes with a lifetime warranty? I should have bought two. This knife is a fantastic value and it's already taken up more pocket time than some of my more expensive knives, such as my SOCOM Elite and the M4 Shaman I mentioned earlier. My only worry is the upkeep required with the steel. Nobody wants to spend some dough and have to worry about using it due to the risk of corrosion. But the price point is so great on the Blur that I don't worry about it as much as I do for my M4 Shaman, even though they're both limited runs. Unfortunately for you guys, if you didn't jump on this sprint run, you're out of luck as it's currently discontinued on Kershaw's website. So now we move on to my knife review rating score. This rating system is something I came up with to help me quantify and rate my knife collection and covers a lot of different categories such as blade steel, design, performance, etc. To be clear, this system is very subjective, but it works for me. Anyway, let's get to it. So the first category is blade steel. This blade uses a real ultra premium steel that ranks among the hardest and toughest of knife steels, but also retains decent sharpen ability. Although it is susceptible to rust compared with like stainless steel, a little extra knife maintenance is all that's required. So drop some oil on it every now and then and wipe it off after you use it, you lazy son of a guns. I give an M4 Blur a 9 out of 10. Next up is handle scales. This knife doesn't use any premium materials such as G10, but I dig the design and feel of the anodized 6061 T6 aluminum and the trac-tec inserts. The handle feels comfortable, the extra texture provided by the inserts feels good, and it really increased my confidence in my grip. In the end, I gave this category a score of 6 out of 10. The next category is value. The Blur has a genuine super steel blade, great build quality, is made in the USA, and has a lifetime warranty. All for under 90 bucks. This knife performed great, is sexy as all get out, and has the distinction of being a limited edition collector's piece on top of that. In the end, this knife scored an 8 out of 10 in value. Moving on, this next category grants up to 5 extra points for build quality, coating/paint, and hardware. The build quality is great. The knife snaps into place in a Blur. The centering is spot on, and I love the black DLC blade. Oh, you guys know how I love that DLC coating. On the flip side, the black hardware is nothing special. I mean, you see it on lots of knives. So I gave this knife 3 out of 5 possible extra points. Next up is performance. I never go into the individual slicing, chopping, piercing, and slashing extra points, but overall this knife performed fantastically, just shredding through everything I had to cut and staying razor sharp throughout, until it met up with the skateboard decking grip tape. The Blur did a great job on that tough task, but the recurve portion of the blade did dull after that heavy job, and the black DLC got really scratched up. But the grip tape on the skateboard is no joke. It's just as rough as hard as the 3M grip tape on my SOCOM Elite and the trac-tec inserts on this knife. I should have used like a construction razor to do that job. Either way, the M4 still came through for me as I was able to hit it with the ceramic rod on my work field sharpener and restore the recurve edge with little difficulty. I might start incorporating a skateboard grip tape cut test for the future. I don't know. You guys let me know if that's something you'd be into. Anyway, I give this knife an 8 out of 10. I don't think many of my knives in my collection would have handled the grip tape unharmed. The next category is pocket presence/sheath. The M4 Blur is light, doesn't take up a lot of space, and doesn't chew up my jeans, but it's only limited to left-right tip-down carry, doesn't have a sheath, and you know, when you're reaching your hands in your pocket to grab your keys or something, those trac-tec inserts will scratch up the back of your hands. So I give it a 3 out of 5. Finally, we come up to our last category, extra points. This category grants up to 5 points based on subjective style, special features, and design. The Kershaw M4 Blur is sexy as, in my honest opinion, and packs some premium materials and stylish design elements for a great price. I awarded it 3 extra points out of 5. In the end, the Kershaw M4 Blur scores a 51 out of 75. Wow. That ties it for being the second highest ranked knife in my collection, tying it with the Spyderco M4 Shaman, my Hogue EX04, and the Microtech SOCOM Elite, and at a much lower price point. Very impressive. So, to sum things up, I think Kershaw did a fantastic job putting new life in an old favorite with this knife. In my opinion, the design is fantastic. The CPM-M4 steel is something I geek out about to all my friends and family, even if they don't really understand what I'm talking about. The overall build quality feels great, and I really feel like I got more than my money's worth. Unfortunately, it's a sprint run, and if you don't have one already, I doubt you'll be able to get one now, and I'm kicking myself for only getting the one. Well, that's it for this week's episode of Survival Crash Course. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, this is Omega Agent 661 signing out.